Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at techtrader.com. It's Tuesday night, the 15th of November. These are the charts of the day. Boy, what a market today. It was a nice trading session. A lot of stocks we followed did well. I really had a tough time culling this group down of stocks to go over. There was at least 60, 70 stocks I could have talked about. I really want to avoid the shippers, folks. I really do. I just think they had a run. Don't get caught in them. Be disciplined. I don't want to hear about stories a week or two from now where you're still holding with big losses. And be responsible to the other members of this group and not, pushing them. That's number one. Number two, the marijuana stocks also had a big run. I'll show you a couple of those and a couple of shippers too, just to give you an idea. But let's start off at AERI, a swing trade that's been doing great. Take a look at this pop run up. We had a nice swing trade from there to there, and then pulled down, bounced off to 50, and it's ripping it. Today, closing at 41.95 with a 42.05 high. All-time high. It looks to me like if this is the angle and the correct angle, the stock should get at least to 49, something of that nature. With 6.2 days to cover, we may very well see that. Keep an eye on this going forward. The next couple of days could be very interesting. Another stock that looks exactly like it, also a swing trade, is Collucid. Check out how similar these two charts are. At least this part here, gap, run, pull back orderly, test of 50 and pop. Take another look. Pretty similar. This is a little steeper drop. Collucid with a little less of an angle. Nevertheless, you can see really strong patterns in both of them. How about the explosive move on AIRG? Now, I was following this nice three-wave corrective pullback, kind of held secondary support right there, and then literally has gone from 11.25 straight up to 28.5 in a week. So to say the least overbought, I wouldn't be a chaser. It also pulled way off the high of 28.50, closing at 23.29. So you can see that big pop it had in the morning where it exploded. So look, even though it might go higher, I want to caution everybody that it's extremely extended. Swing trade AMAT. I really like the way this is looking. I like that pattern. It's very similar to what NVIDIA looked like when it's trading in the 30s thereabouts. So I'm not saying it's going to explode, but I am saying keep an eye on it, because if this declining top line gets taken out, and today it did pop a little bit, 62 cents. But watch this recent spike high, that reversal day that never had a follow through. If it gets up through 29.90, 30, I think it'll run. A bit of resistance around 31.25 a half, but boy, this has potential to be, 34 and even 39.40. How about AVXS? I'll challenge you to find a better looking chart in a biotech stock. Having gone from 16 to 71, it's still running. Today it was up 5.72%, 386 on 380,000. It's a thinly traded stock, but it may very well see 80 short term. Another biotech acting well is Cara. And we put a swing on it here. It ran up for a bit, and they got hammered with the biotech group. Came back really impressively, from under 6 to over 10 to 10.5 today. Now it's a little extended. Maybe some momentum that can take it to 12, 12.25, 12.5 area. With 3.27 days to cover, perhaps we'll see that. But I like the overall look of the base, the breakout, the declining top line taken out, the moving average is crossing over, moving up. Keep an eye on this one. CGC.to. Obviously upset myself for not giving you this when it broke out of the coil that I've been watching, but I did mention to you guys they're in the 4 range. How about 1365 today? Look at the volume, every day higher, but it's come to a point where I think the stock is spiked up into a potential top in that zone. It may get you another day up towards 15, 16, whatever, but keep an eye on this one. It may reverse at any moment. And here's the shippers. This is probably the stock of the year, dry ships, going from 4 3/4 to 102, yep, in 4 days. This stock traded 30 million shares. I understand the float is 5 million. So when you get that kind of trading back and forth, take a look at the intraday pattern today. This is the last couple days. It's literally gone from 13 yesterday morning to a high of 102 today, and then rolled over in the afternoon. So at this point, let's just say that I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. This could easily pull back into the 30, 40, 35, 45 range and settle in there. Another one is ESEA, moving from 1 to nearly 6 in 3 days, 4 days. Now, there's some overhead resistance that we may get a little bit of a carry through, maybe, but I wouldn't be chasing this stock, that's for sure. FCX, well, this swing trade with a massive inverse head and shoulder It's sitting right near the resistance in a wedge. Now today it came down and popped off the lows and got up and closed near the highs on 37 million shares. If we can get this to run through here, you're going to see the stock looking around 17, 22, 27, etc. Could be a really interesting trade going forward. As is Finisar, which I like a lot. Now, after, look, the stock was acting great all year, and then it spiked up on earnings and it kept running. When it reached resistance here, it had a three-wave corrective pullback to the 50, and then broke back out again. I can see the stock 35, 37, short term, intermediate term, low to mid 40s. How about those gold ETFs? Boy, we timed them perfectly, didn't we? Got it down to 606. The swing trade was at 6.5. The targets were 8 and 9. I raised them today to 10 and 11 because I believe it's possible we're going to get the run up towards there, around $10. And eventually, possibly up towards 11. But let's just see what happens, because it is, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, Elliott wave basics. Spike bottom and heavy volume, that's why I gave it to you. A little bit of a shoot over it the next following day, and then the turnaround. So let's see what it does with resistance in the 9.5, 10 zone, right there, as the first target. And then we're going to be looking up towards right there around the 11, 11.5 area. Should be interesting. Now that was up 15% today on a mere 35 million. Its sister stock, Nugget, similar. 5 waves down, V bottom, big volume off the lows. My target's on this one now. Let's see if we can get it up tomorrow to about early in the morning 10. We may try to take a run at that spike high at 1083. Keep an eye on that zone. And then the secondary target, a Nugget, has to be up closer to about 12.5. Luck. I think the stock's to take out, and believe me, there's a couple companies chasing them. So I don't know what the price is going to be, but we got it perfectly in the 17.5 range. It's now 20.5 and still running. I'm going to be looking for 23, 25 on this one. MB. I put a swing on it today because it popped out and then pulled back. I like buying pullbacks after they pop out. Across a little bit of a triple top here. With 5.4 days to cover and a very strong rising channel, I don't think this one's done yet. I'm looking for mid-20s, eventually low 30s. How about that Nutanix today? 425 or 15% exploded. Next target, 36. If it flies beyond that, 39.40, perhaps. Stay tuned, this is going to get interesting. NVIDIA. Well, after the fantastic earnings report and the 20-point gain, it pulled back and today had an inside day. This stock looks like it's setting up for more. I don't think this is done yet by any means. I don't even think you're going to pull back and test the gap anymore. Provided the market holds up, this may very well go to triple digits. And what a day for Ren today. 1 million shares up 13%, stepping back out of the wedge. It looks to me like there's a possibility this could make a run towards the mid-40s. Very interesting. My target's are 40 and high 40s actually. But let's get through the high first at 33.85. Big pop on Trox, TROX. I didn't mention it, but I wanted to show you the beautiful invert head and shoulders breakout platform, and this should have been a swing. I missed out on this one, but it may not be too late. My short-term target's 12, my secondary target's 15. Those are your targets going forward. And there's 10.5 days to cover. We may very well see this extend. Tower Semi. Beautiful long-term chart. Near term, it's got a rising pattern that tells me this may be headed to the 23-25 zone. Especially with today's action where it popped through this resistance zone and did it with a gap of 95 cents, 5.7%, 2.4 million. That's the second biggest volume on an up day since February 2015, a year and a half. So with that kind of move, I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick test of the 18, 20, 30 zone, and if it gets through there, you're headed much higher. Well, let's see what it does there. UWTI, well, despite the fact that I'm bearish on oil, I think the pundits right now are bullish on it, and I think that they're I'm going to try to extend this run back up towards the moving average and test perhaps the 22.5 free zone. I don't know if that's the case for sure. This does look like potentially a left-handed extended V. Today's a breakaway gap, and this little 2-day pattern is an island reversal. The big, almost engulfing bar yesterday and a breakaway gap today. If this gets above 2010 tomorrow, you may see it at 22 pretty quickly. We may want to attempt trading that tomorrow. Now, how about that VUZI today? In the midst of everything, it just popped right through the 50. It did pull back from 8.25 to close at 805. I actually saw 810 on my board, but either way, with more than 500,000 shares and the volume picking up, you can see that in 6 of the last 7 sessions, this stock's been up. I think we're going to make a run at that 9.5, 3/4, 980 zone, and then we'll see if there's resistance up there that can be taken out. But I do feel like we're going to get a run up in there, maybe a pullback, and then it's go time. And I'm not kidding, folks, when I think this is a $12, $13 stock. We'll see. How about U.S. Steel? Engulfing session, hold the gap, break out. Closing at the upper end of the range. Fantastic rising channel in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th wave underway. I would not be surprised to see U.S. Steel make a big run, first to 31.5 and then into the high 30s. Eventually, I have a target in the mid 40s, but that may be a ways away. Zencor exploding off the lows like many biotechs have. This one's back up against resistance. Now, I don't know if the momentum on these are going to enable these to extend even further, but if it does, you're going to look at 30 as a potential target. If it pulls back, your supports are around 23, 24 zone. Love to see a little orderly pullback that sets us up for a move to 32 later on. And look who broke out today. XON. It's been building a base since April when it got smashed, but it held the 23.4 zone for many months. Today, though, it's probably broken out through 31. It may very well be headed towards the 39 area, maybe as high as 43. This one's interesting. There's 18 days to cover. It has been up for 6 days in a row, 7 out of 8, so it may need to rest. But should this give us a consolidation of some sort of a flag in there, I may put a swing on it. Swing XPO Logistics also up like 9 days in a row and looking great. Inverse head and shoulder platform breakout, and it took out this little area of resistance in here that may very well lead to an extension. It takes us to 47, my next target. 16.5 days to cover. And look what the top of the channel says. 60? Maybe. Yarandai. Well, we put a swing on it, and it didn't do much today, but after hours, take a look. Earnings came out, they were fabulous. Exploded, pulled back, and then closed at the upper end of the range at 32.85, up 2.5 more points after hours. I suspect there's gaps and runs tomorrow. Could be a day trade, we'll have to see. Now that it's above this zone, which I said was resistance at 32. So let's see if tomorrow morning it holds 32 and extends. This could very well see high 30s, 37 range. Lastly, is Zebra. Thank you, Pancho. I think it's Pancho that mentioned that today. Look at the long 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave decline. Taking it from literally 120 down to 47, losing more than 2/3 of its value. But at this point, a big run up to resistance and a pullback platform, forming a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is a key breakout today, and a big one. It went up 865 or 13% on a solid 3.2 million shares, which you've never seen. Matter of fact, that's the biggest volume on an up day since I've been following the stock. Very intriguing. Where's my target? I have to say at least a run to about 83, thereabout, 82.3 zone. 14.88 days to cover. Keep an eye on this one tomorrow. Folks, that's the long look at the long side of it. And should be an interesting rest of the week. Take care, everybody. Good night.